So have you ever seen that movie Iron Sky, where you have evil space Nazis that have been hiding on the moon ever since World War II? Now they're invading back to Earth. I think that is the level of fictionalized post-World War II zombies that people are comfortable with. Once you take Nazis and you put them in America, and even you have some Americans that are Nazis themselves, that is when you get some interesting internet comments. Welcome to Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about Season 1 of The Man in the High Castle. The Man in the High Castle is an adaptation of the Phillip K book of the same name and tells the story of an alternate history where Japan and Germany won World War II and divided up North America between them. The East Coast is part of the Nazi Reich and the West Coast is under the rule of Japan as the Japanese Pacific States. The area in between is called the Neutral Zone, not controlled by any of the superpowers, but still heavily regulated. The show tells three main stories that are really all kind of three aspects of the same story. You have the main characters and the resistance and their missions, and then you have all this political intrigue going on both the Japanese and Nazi government. First of all, the imagining of a United States under Japanese and Nazi rule was done beautifully. One of the most interesting things about this show is how the world looks. The intertwining of these two very different cultures into American culture was fascinating. The Japanese San Francisco and the Nazi New York City were unsettling and unlike many things we've seen before. You can definitely catch an obvious green screen here and there, but nothing that really bothered me. The overall aesthetics of this show is pretty amazing. This show was actually shopped around for a while before finally landing with Amazon. Even HBO passed this one up. Most studios just thought that American audiences will not be able to handle seeing a Nazi New York City. Even with Amazon, they still had to make changes. They had to make the resistance a bit more fierce to make the show a bit more palatable to American audiences mainly. This is definitely a story with an impact and a message, and I think that part of that message is that horrible things can happen anywhere. Masses can be persuaded to hate, and it has nothing to do with the fact that people are of a certain nationality. I actually have a lot more to say about this subject, but I'm not gonna talk about it now. I'm gonna stop now. I might talk about it on my vlogging channel, though I probably shouldn't. About the story itself, I was way more interested in the German and Japanese aspects of it than I was in the main characters. The main story about the films and the resistance had some interesting personal moments in it, and it also had some cool espionage stuff, but I wasn't really taken with it. I mean, it was solid, it was good, the performances by the main characters were fine, but when the show dealt with the Japanese and German governments, with the power struggles and the political intrigue and how they wanted to deal with the resistance and the tension between these two superpowers, that was when the show really got me, and also when we got some of the much better performances in the show. The Man in the High Castle is not much of a character piece, it's more about the overall story. Usually in cases like this, you'll get less focus about the characters themselves, which definitely allows the story to move at a very good pace. I thought the pacing here was great, but it makes it a bit harder to actually care about the characters and their mission, which in this show has to do with these films that show what the world could have been like had the United States won the war. And these films are made by this mystery man called the Man in the High Castle. There's a really cool concept here, and I wish they spent more time on it, on the thing that the show is named after. But I guess that means that season 2 is going to be a thing, which would be cool. So when the show wraps up, you've been presented with a powerful story, excellent world building, solid, okay performances, and I'm perfectly comfortable with leaving some questions up in the air for future seasons, but there's so much that's left hanging here that when the show was done, I kind of felt like I just watched 10 episodes of exposition. Bottom line, should you watch it? The Man in the High Castle is not just another show. It does bring something unique to the table. It has incredible world building that just by itself makes the show worth watching. Even though some of the performances can be a bit underwhelming, the story is still powerful and engaging. But you will, however, probably be left with quite a few questions at the end. Is it worth getting Amazon Prime just so you could watch this? Probably not, but Amazon Prime is definitely worth getting. So if you did get it, you should watch this show. What about you? Have you watched it? What did you like or didn't like about it? Also, if anyone has read the book, I would love for you to talk about how the show stacks up to the book. If you're talking about spoilers, please use spoiler tags in your comments, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. And if you're finding Binge Watchers for the first time, welcome. I'd like to invite you to join the Binge Watchers community, where we're talking about TV every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with opinions and reviews and discussions and all kinds of great stuff, all for you fellow binge watchers and TV lovers. So you can go ahead and click on that big subscribe button to join in on the fun. You can check out any of the other videos on the channel. If you want to talk about anything else, you can check out my personal channel. But in any case, keep binging, and I will see you next time.